Jessica, I have to quickly do this. And I looked at her and said, Jessica, sorry to be, it's none of my business. Is there one I'm looking at? What you looking at? And she said, what are you looking at? I said, it's voucher. Yeah? This voucher of $1.96. What is it? Is it for the parking fees?
At the airport.
At the airport. Okay. Like all the parking that you go and take it for the meeting, you can claim that. Yeah, because you didn't go there for your own leisure. You didn't go there for you to just go and meet up your friends. You went there for meeting that is pertaining to the company that you work for. And you can get there. I said, I've been going to that meeting, to that airport and taking the company car parking there for the last 2 years. I've never claimed anything. Like, it's mind-boggling. I'm looking at this, my payment voucher, it's $1.96, And so I came and I followed this man. The China said, sorry, I know it's none of my business, but I want to ask you, do you feel a payment voucher for $1.96? She'll be watching me today and she will know this day. And she came to me and said, yeah, so? And I said, it's only $1.96. And she looked at me and she said, Rachel, every dollar adds up to $10, and every $10 adds up to $100, and every $100 adds up to $1,000. If you cannot look after the $1 and claim and take ownership of that $1, how can you make your $10 and how can you make your $100? That got to me. Because she turned around, like for me, I was trying to indirectly tell her, wait, when you take back your payment voucher, take it out. Your petty cash for a voucher. Because it's like $1.96. But the response that she gave me, dawned on me that I was losing out because it's just us, PGN. All sorrow the set, set. But then you want to look at the way I get kami kind of okay, but the conditions I can be Mrs. Patel. So I can be now Cassidy. Mrs. Patel, but the one now. The was not going to come out. I'll start bullet no bullet. But Mrs. Patel, I could keep to me Malangi, Margaret on the Nicolavo, a Bolikin and the Tomotoka, and Mrs. Patel. Coca, I can do so, and we will lick at that. Nandon Rambula, Rambula. It's a viable category, they are achieving things. Then maybe for us, it's about time. We cannot continue to stand on the side and watch them and make fun of them while they are achieving and having a good life. We must tell ourselves, I own that can happen to me too. And you really need to join them to do whatever they're doing, but create something on your own to say to yourself, I can also achieve. And I believe most of you listening to us today, you've already done that. I am so excited and humbled. I have a friend, her name is Anna Tuimana, she lives in America, and she used to share with me about her family. And there's only 2 girls in the family. And she said, what amazed me, not really committed to the church, but now they are in the Methodist church. And she said, growing up, I grew up because I was sitting maybe in Matumale. And then she said, from a very early age, they buy, properties, they buy land. And now their children have grown. One has just graduated as a doctor. One went overseas to study like an accountant. And all these properties that they buy over there, and she said, on how they manage their funds well in their home. And one of the investments that they've done way back is where we used to go there, down LC in Namaka.
Yeah.
So now they managed to put up an apartment there, like apartment for Airbnb or people to come and rent. They managed to do that and send his children. And she said what amazes her on how they always manage their finances. They both work, very good decisions, and now with all their children, deployed and everything, but they still. And she said one thing that she noticed, they don't like splashy just go out and live the way they want, considering the amount, the level that they in, and the finances or the payroll that they in, like on how they manage their finances.
I mean the lifestyle that we live, but sometimes it must like that if we save, then it does not match without culture.
Yeah.
Tu ni kena mamandi ke waka se ke waka roka. Endo waka tu waka chang se kena
Yeah.
na ni waka ni puro waka na communal living da puro ke waka koro everybody for everything.
Yeah.
Okay, endo
But everything belongs to you.
iya okay tu si ke waka aku dia tarata ke endo na ka balatiko kena no matoba ka sana bita la ti no nambula ke sa bula ti no no na
Yeah.
balata ni do me ke da tarata ke sura bita no mato bala no bula no sawo ti no ni ka ke de bango na ka ke da sawo ti no bula ni na ka ke de no da
Yeah.
sawo ti no na sa ke sa tu ta no ka no ta da ke bula sa ti ko ina ke do me sa o mo te ni mo tara per to so mai ko na bi pato tabaka me da mai buli de so na ke bula me da
Babi na
ka
kata
ke na no da bula me ka ko sa no to ha sa
Yeah.
ba na se ki na na waka
Yeah.
na se ki na waka di to ke ni ke da ka ni ta ba ta tu bi na era bula di mai
Yeah.
da ba ta na ni si do ke na ba ba dona kai ko ni ko mari ako so da business gero no e kamu porque tu mi che da suya me lutu so non da e lo tua balta na ni no e kata lo mai si do so da li bitu tu kilo magari un no de yao da si ka na business o ko si do no e kata na di la che volta si ya lo tua non da business da banco lì si dava vi porto la che poi la o e da se lì de da se stava ni la poi de me la di ramone di si no che ma di dona regola a lifestyle that we need to change to adjust to the time that we live in.
And also, I mean, there's quite a lot of achievers and business investors here in the UK, at least short time I've noticed. And it will be beneficial, for just for them to share that knowledge with our people. And there's a lot of people now that are doing their own personal business. Bali ni may mga nabikin ng COVID, libre na kaya, right? Libre na marama na tingin mo na sana kaya na katakdilikan. The business, you don't have to wait to be big or create something big. You start small, whatever that you can do. Like I always say that I sell hot dogs. I make rotis at home because even though I was working in an airline, I was getting a good salary on that airline. There are some things that I want to do in the house, or extend our home, or tile our house, or paint our house. There are some things that they cannot fit in your budget. So I look for all these little things that I can do and sell. They bring in money a little bit faster for me to achieve the project that I aspire for. So don't wait until your money becomes the money that you're looking for. Whatever salary that you're getting, or even if you're not getting salary at all, you are full time. Create little things that you can rake in. Don't look for big money. Start with small money, because those small money add up to be big money. So whatever money that you can come by, try and work on that, and make sure. I always be a strong advocate to advise all of us, always write a list. Because without the list, the tendency to go beyond your list is always there. Like for this trip, every time we always come out, because I try as much to bring my grandchildren and bring my family. The last time we came in December, I took money out from their savings. They have their own individual account. And I said, okay, Nana doesn't have that much money for your spending. Now your spending will come out from your own savings. So I went to all their, my daughter handles their cards and handles their account. So we got money from all their account and telling them, whenever you're using this money, know that you're using money from your saving. And we give them that. So when we give them or sign off their, their portion, that my daughter religiously do very well with reminders. And when we sign off, they're not given the full amount, so they will be given like half. If they given half and being briefed. So what I always tell them, look, write your list, because the impulse as you go to buy the things you never plan to buy, you will end up buying. Write down your list, and sometimes when you come back home and you check your list, the things you really need, you didn't buy. The things you don't really need because your eyes just see it, you like it, and then you buy. But when you write your list, you'll go and say, this is how I always train them. Write down your list, and you go searching for your list. If you can't find it in this place, and you say, okay, I can't find what I'm looking for here, so we'll take it to another place. You go to another place. Work according to your list. After your list is ticked, everything, like if you're looking for long pants, this is the type of long pants I'm looking for. If I'm looking for certain kind of shoes, this is the shoes that I'm looking for, sneakers, and the cost, and then you put a budget. When you write, do your budget assumption. How much money, with the money that you've been given, how much money you want to allocate on those need lists that you've written. And that will give you an indication. When you actually find it, then you ask yourself, is this the one? Is it within the budget allocation that I've given this amount to spend on this item? So there will be a thing. If it's not, then you ask any other place that is cheaper than this place. This is my budget for it. I'm looking for something that just falls within this budget. And that's how you look after your finances. So after all your need is ticked, and then you look at your spare or the leftover money, that's when you can go and look out for your wants, the things you don't really need. And then depending on the amount of money that you have left, then you go looking out for those things for you to get and for you to buy. That's how you manage your finances. When you travel, I'm talking about when you travel, like we had our team that is with us, we did the same with them as well, giving them money. For those of you that travel to Australia and New Zealand, I would recommend Kmart is the place to go. Because Kmart, it's like you can shop for your whole house and for shop for your whole family at a very economical, the best cost that you can use. And because you have good shoes, you have good sandals ranging from $5, $7, or even on the red tag. When it's red tag, it's 50%. Go right down to $4 for a pair of nice glittery sandals for girls. And you have sneakers, and like it's very, very economical, and it fits the budget. And when you shop for, it's like that money, if you take to one shop, can be just for a few items. But if you take it to Kmart with all your list, your wife, your husband, or your children, like it caters, for the same budget. So those are the little tips and the little things, like what I said, like what he mentioned. You may be getting a lot of money through your pay, and then you say to yourself, no, I have a lot of money, I don't really need to go to that kind of shop. I can go to that shop. Yeah, that's your choice because it's your money. But if you do think the other way around, if you go to that shop, still get the same things, and you save that money that you save goes towards something else that you can still achieve. And if you add on all those saving, it's amazing on how much you can be able to save. And goes back for us in Fiji. For the little money that you can save, I want to remind us, now it's April, how much have you managed to save starting from the beginning of the year? And for those of you who have written out your passport, I know immigration has been closed for a while, and now they've just opened on the 25th of March. How many of you have managed to do your passports? And also the driving license. How many of you have managed to achieve that or work towards that? Classes that you've been already taking, have you started your classes? Have you got your learner's permit? Or for those of you that are on the P, how many more months do you have left for that provisional license to end? And you must book your DDC, because after the DDC, then that's when you get your full license. And for your full license, don't just go for the 1 year, which is about $13 or $14. I don't know whether that's changed. But write it down. Before your provisional license expires, you still have a month out, write it down. That when you do sit for your DDC, what are the costs that is involved? The booklet, what is the cost for that DDC? Write it down. I'm talking to you if you know that you don't have that kind of money just available for you to do that, and you're waiting for somebody to do it for you, or you're already giving up. I will not do it because I just don't have the money today. Write it down. And when that comes, and then you also ask for the license. The license in Fiji, to the most, they can give for 6 years. So for 6 years, I guess you pay about, nearly 100 or more than 100, and you write that down. So as you're coming towards the end of your provisional license, you know how much it takes. You already work towards that, you're saving towards it. And for those of you who work, that's fine, you get money. But I'm talking to you if you know you're struggling to save that kind of money. And when you actually do your DDC for that all-day course, make sure you get your license for 6 years. So you don't have to be worried, when does your license expire? Like for me, the only thing that I capture is the ending, when does it expire? So what year does it expire for my 6 years? Since I've got my driving license, I've just been doing it for 6 years, and now I'm doing it for my grandchildren that are getting their license after DDC. And it helps because for 6 years you don't have to worry that it's my driving license still current. And it works. So those are little things, little plans for you to work towards. And it may sound difficult. Orang-orang back weekend and orang-orang ko, or orang-orang may tugon ako, mula ko rin na kamango, orang-orang kaya naman yung orang kaya, walang kapwa ni ko give up. Don't give up on yourself or to say that you cannot. You can, and you can go out of your way to do it. You can sacrifice some of the little things that you always do and spend on, and save that money towards this cost. Kaya kay kondo lang ko na kamango, ikaw rin nga naman same budget, yung ganyan kami ko, okay, already, kung di na kamango naman kamango, naman save bulan ko, I can, don't go out and save this money, all this budget allocation. So you just take the same money that you already have, the same money that you already allocated, and just reshuffle whatever that you've written, and use the same money for your other achievements or other things that you want to achieve on top, in addition to your current. So yeah, those are the tips. I love talking about money. I love talking about how to save money because I've come a long way doing that. I've seen the fruits, I've seen the rewards, and I know the challenges, and I know the itchiness when you know you're saving. I know that feeling when you're running out of money and you need to pay your bills and you know you have your money there. I know what that how that feels when you just want to go and bust open your saving and get the money to solve your problem right there and then. But for me, the added bonus that I have is my faith, that I serve a living God. And for you Christians, that's an added bonus. Because when you know you believe in a God that provides, and this supernatural power that can help you to achieve the things you have on your list that you don't have enough for, it's amazing. And that's another story. But for those of you who do not believe in God, and you're just working basically physically with the things that you are receiving, then this is the way to go. You just need to say to yourself, no, I'm not going to touch that saving. I'm not going to touch that. I don't go like I don't have anything. And you pray only then you are able to save. Because if not, the need, the requirement, the cost of living that comes in daily, weekly, and monthly, the cost is always there. How you meet that cost, it's pulling from all different directions apart from your pay, and it's crashing onto your savings. That's why people hardly save. There's a lot of us, we don't even have saving. We've worked for years, we don't even have saving. A lot of us, I believe I can say that. Why? Because of our cost of living and the things that we do is so demanding. It chews into our finances.
It's also the way that we peer pressure.
Yeah.
Things about our neighbors and what people say on you and this. We are so concerned about the outside pressure, and we are not looking into what we can do for our life, especially for family. And that's one of the problems that is really a challenge to us in Tauke. Because most of the time we want to live according to what other people that they set a standard. But for other races, one thing that I've seen, they could care less what the people say. They can stay on their own, they can live on their own. Communal living is not part of their life, even though it does not take away that they have brothers, they have sisters, they have relatives. But when it comes to running your family, when it comes to running your finance, they are dependent on them. And for us, we take we take the relationship into another level, and we are expecting people to look out for us. We are more like takers than givers. We love to hang on, to depend on somebody to look out. And that's why we can't save, we are not strong, we are not confident to live a life that we are alone. So when we go overseas, for those of you that are watching, living here in New Zealand, or living in Australia, or maybe in Europe or in America, most of the time we are living in overseas, but we live a lifestyle in Fiji. And it's very challenging for us to grow and
Yeah.
to achieve in business, in family, or even into academic, because we live overseas, or maybe for the islanders, we come to Suva, but we don't live that island living. We are in a different environment. We are in a different nation. Here we are in a different country. So we have to do like them for us to survive in that area or in that nation. And so many years, some live overseas, but they struggle along, even though they own good jobs and they've been receiving for their salary. But the fruit of their work is not seen. Why? Because we don't want to come away from that lifestyle that only suitable in certain areas.
Yeah. In certain countries.
Where there's a saying, when you in Rome, you live like a Roman. So when we come overseas, if you want to achieve overseas, because of the competitive pressure that is in, you cannot afford to continue to be laxity, going to work, take things as they are, and not achieving. The bottom line, we are not achieving because we have that lagged attitude.
I think it boils down to the fact that you need to have a plan. You need to have a plan, because if you don't have a plan, then you are just living normal, like
You're flowing.
with no vision. So if you have left home, and that's one thing that for those who have come in for NAC and the seasonal workers, we belong to a church, and there's quite a fair bit of church members that we belong to that have come across to New Zealand as the seasonal workers, and also for Australia as through the NAC, or for this PALMS agreement with the three countries. And one thing that I've always really saw as a man, the practicality of how you live. When you're back at home in Fiji, you sit down, you do your plan. The plan is, okay, when you go, you're going to earn that kind of money, you're going to finish, building a house here in Fiji. Everything is done in the plan. And I'm sure for those of you that are tuning in today who have left Fiji shores through this program, you had your plans. Maybe you're back another one kaya may tuso na banana nili biuki bay nakita se tara na normale may nakorbeka se na mo na tuko kina be na no ni tubutuwe ito na ka kami ni tuwana ni berni kami tapos sumay se nila ko may time when you actually arrive here, then maybe sometimes it doesn't really work out the way you had planned. Na plan like may bali plan with prayer, plan with you plan with your family. And then you're being thrown into to a totally different atmosphere. An atmosphere that you have people that you've never met, have never lived with, but you're staying in the same place, you stay in the same place, and you work together. So they become your family, whether you like it or not. They become your work family. Because you see them, you breathe them, you eat with them, you see them all the time. So they are your work family. And this is the strength and the wisdom that you must have to rise above the circumstances that you're in, to remember the family you left back at home. Melihat kayak pasal ni nang lumayan, nakakiri ko ay plente niya, way down. Second way balik ko. Balik ko sa may tiko ko, and do tala na matuwali ko. Pero sa kanya kanila ni mo matuwali. Sa matuwali ko, bobi ko na nakakiri na. So someone that may culture shock because they need like tango, like you're new today, and then someone in the bago ni so binaka ng muno, so binaka ng tobacco, so binaka ng kakina, everything is cheap. So when I love when the tubo na kamay the planta kamay ng in the baby may baka may way down. But sa tibutali na ng work family, you have your work family. And you are being, attracted to all these things that you never knew that there is here. And now that you're physically here, you can see for yourself. You forget about everything else at home, and you're living your life for yourself. And some of you are going that way, and take you maybe months or years of mistakes and wrong decisions to faithfully. Sometimes you can turn around and come back. Or some of you, that's it. That's your new life. Forget about the old life. That was one stage. Second stage of phase 2, you're living on. Some of you are in that area. But some of us are quite strong. I saw a coverage in the papers about this young lady when the PM Rabuka came across on how he came and meet some of his workers. And there was a story of this young lady that was being pictured together with Rabuka on the, in the papers as I read. And I was really, for me, really humbled with that, because her story was when she came across, she planned to, send money back home to build a home for her parents. And having that politic on the day, she said, now it's nearly finished, my parents are about to move in. Some of you are like that, you're very strong-minded. You come with a purpose, and you stay with that purpose, and you make sure that you, achieve whatever that you have planned. So some of you are in that category. So there are different categories of people out there on how you are managing your life, how you manage your finances, how you manage what you are managing. But for us, when it comes to the church, and because we had quite a few church members that have come across on the same program, and for New Zealand, I remember, I think 1 year ago or 2 years ago, we had this meeting that we always call it administration, and we just, call out this, you'll hear on this program, this is not worker. So one thing that you must ask yourself, with this contract, 3 years or 2 years or whatever contract that you sign up for, what is it? What is your plan? Now that you've tasted it, now that you're here, now that you've seen it, are you going back, or would you like your family to join you? Those are the questions that we begin to ask them. And if they say, oh, we would like our family to join us, then we take the names down, and it becomes a prayer request that one day the family will come across and join them. And it's amazing. For those few families that we have put their names down, we have prayed for, most of their families are here, they've joined them here. So those are the things that you need to do. Don't live out of hanging on to the plan you had, or you did, or you made years back, and you know fully well that plan is not working out. You have to replan. If that plan was, and now you're here, things have changed that you never anticipated, then you need to change that plan. If this plan was send money home to build a house at home in Fiji, and you're going back, and you know you're not going to go back, you're liking the life here in Australia or in New Zealand, and you love the life that you're living, then you need to change that plan. Change that plan to move your family across. Write down the list and get your family across. And don't rest there. Check the system on how, with the current visa that you come into that particular country, what do you need to do? Maybe a bridging visa or whatever. You have to get the correct factual advice on how to work towards the visa that you currently have, towards your PR, or what you need to do. Those are the things that you need to write down, bear in mind, and work towards seriously. So, because if you're seriously bringing your family across, and you're seriously staying in the country that you have chosen, and in Australia, New Zealand, then you need to be serious with the requirements that is outlined, and you need to meet all those outlined. You need to take them, and you need to work towards it. Because after you get that and manage to get your PR, and get it also for your family, then it changes your whole plan. In the initial plan, for you to go back home and be at home. So don't just wait and rest there. Then, since you're not building in Fiji, then this is the country that you have chosen. And you write down, I need to buy a house, or I need to build a house. And you write that list. Some of you may take 5 to 10 years, some of you may take longer, but you need to plan. And you need to plan. You cannot be renting all the time. For Australia and New Zealand, you pay your rent weekly. For America and England, it's monthly. But for weekly, say if you're paying a rent for $500 a week, imagine, for a month of 4 weeks, that's $2,000. And a month of 5 weeks, that's $2,500. And if it's more than 500, that's even more. If it's 600, 700, that's more. And that's the thousands that you're paying for your rent, for your dwelling, roof above your head, and for the whole year. Do that mathematics, do that calculation. Because not until you do the times, the pluses and the equals and whatever that you do, when you look at the whole figure, then it takes back to the conviction of a small figure you're paying in a month. If you just say, oh, it's all right, I'm only paying $300 a week, oh, it's $400 a week. When you say $400 a week, $500, $600 a week, the wrong line. But when you say $2,500 or $3,000, $4,000 a month, then you're going to kill. and we were doing that. We were actually at this place, Edgebury Place, before we went to the airport at SFO. And I know the ladies, if you're listening today, you'll be testament to this. And we had this group of ladies in America that we were sitting talking about this very thing on how to, save their money, how to work towards. We were having this conversation, and then I asked, and I said, "Oh, how much is that? How much is your rent? Oh, I'm paying about like this amount, 1,000, some 2,000, a month, and there's another one 5,000 a month, depending on the complement of their house, how huge the number of rooms." And they said, "Oh, okay, so how do people pay your rent? Like monthly or weekly?" And said, "Oh, it's monthly. Oh, that's good. Like it's $1,000 something a month." And then I was telling them, for Australian residents weekly. So if you say, "Oh, you pay $1,000. How much is your rent?" "Oh, it's 1,500. And how much is yours?" "Oh, mine is only 700. And then the second question you ask, 700 what? 700 a week or 700 a month? 1,500 what? A week or a month? So if they say 1,500 a month for America and England, that's it, it's a month. But if you say $700 a week here in New Zealand and Australia, then you have to times the 4 and times 5 for the month with 5 weeks. So the amount is huge. And say like just for the basic, if you take 2.5, which is like 5 weeks, and which is not normal, maybe 3 or 4 months in a year that has 5 weeks. So on average, you work on a 4. And if it's a $500 rent a week, $2,000 a month, and for the whole year, there is about 24,000 plus the one with the 5 weeks that can take you up to about 27,000, and that's for the whole year for rent. So that whole year for the rent, and then you calculate how many years you are here or you have been here. 5 years, and then you multiply that. So when you multiply 5 years or 6 years for the rent you have paid, then it gives you that figure that you managed to pay this amount for this number of years, or for this rent for this month. It's hard for you to think, okay, I can put aside this money, or I can save this money.